listening to the best podcast from the USA to the UK on greatdayradio.com.
Welcome to another Great Day Radio motivational podcast. I am DJ Mikey D with my partner in knowledge, DJ D. Marie.
Hello, folks. It is great to join you, Mikey, on this daily motivational podcast series.
Well, I figure since you head our relationship discussions, you would be great at contributing to this segment. Okay, let's kick it off. The power of belief is so fundamental to human achievement that studies show it can literally rewire our brains. When we truly believe we can do something, our neural pathways actually change to help make it happen.
That's fascinating, and what really strikes me is how this isn't just feel-good psychology. There's hard science behind it. Have you looked into Bandura's groundbreaking research on self-efficacy?
Well, his findings completely transformed our understanding of human potential. He discovered that people with strong self-efficacy, their belief in their ability to succeed, approach challenges as opportunities rather than threats. The data shows they consistently outperform those with similar abilities but lower self-belief.
So if we break that down, what exactly makes belief such a powerful force?
You know, it's really about how belief shapes our actions. Take Thomas Edison's story. He tried over 1,000 different materials for the light bulb filament. Most people would have given up, but his belief system was totally different. He famously said he hadn't failed. He'd found 1,000 ways that wouldn't work.
That reminds me of the research showing how belief affects our resilience and persistence. Students who believed in their capabilities performed significantly better academically, not because they were smarter, but because they studied differently and persisted longer.
Exactly right, and here's what's really interesting. The research shows this effect across every field. Athletes with strong self-belief train harder and recover from injuries faster. Entrepreneurs with high self-efficacy are more likely to persist through early failures. It's like belief creates this self-fulfilling cycle of positive action and results.
But what about the collective aspect? How does belief work when we're talking about groups rather than individuals?
That's where things get really fascinating. Studies in the American Psychologist found that teams with shared beliefs and vision consistently outperform those without it. It's like belief creates this multiplier effect. When everyone believes in the same goal, you're not just adding individual efforts, you're multiplying collective power.
Well, that explains why successful organizations invest so much in building shared belief systems.
Right? And here's what's really interesting about that. The research shows successful organizations don't just happen to have strong shared beliefs. They actively cultivate them through specific practices. They create what psychologists call belief architectures that support and reinforce positive expectations.
That's such an interesting framework. How does someone actually start building stronger beliefs?
So Bandura identified 4 main sources: mastery experiences, creating small wins; vicarious experiences, seeing others succeed; social persuasion, encouragement from others; and managing emotional states. The key is understanding that belief isn't fixed. It's highly trainable, like a muscle.
You know what I find most intriguing about all this? The fact that it's something we can actively work on and improve.
Absolutely. And let me share a practical framework based on the research. Start with belief auditing, identifying your current beliefs and understanding their origins. Then move to belief engineering, deliberately constructing new empowering beliefs based on evidence rather than past limitations.
That sounds really structured. How do you actually implement something like that in daily life?
Well, it's about creating specific daily practices, like keeping an evidence journal, recording your progress and successes, then actively collecting new evidence that supports your desired beliefs. You also want to surround yourself with what I call belief reinforcers, people, environments, and experiences that strengthen your new belief system.
The way you're describing it makes belief sound almost like a skill that can be developed, rather than something we either have or don't have.
That's precisely it. And it's one of the most empowering aspects of the research. Just like we can strengthen a muscle through consistent exercise, we can strengthen our beliefs through deliberate practice and the right environmental supports.
Speaking of environmental supports, How crucial is community in building and maintaining strong beliefs?
You know, the research shows it's absolutely critical. Our beliefs are heavily influenced by our social environment. That's why successful people often talk about finding their tribe, people who share and support their aspirations. It's not just about positive thinking, it's about creating an ecosystem that naturally reinforces empowering beliefs.
That makes so much sense. Like creating a positive feedback loop between belief and achievement.
Exactly. And here's what's fascinating about these feedback loops. Like they work in both directions. Just as positive beliefs create positive outcomes that reinforce those beliefs, negative beliefs can create self-fulfilling prophecies that confirm our limitations. That's why being intentional about the beliefs we cultivate is so crucial.
Well, that really highlights the importance of choosing our beliefs carefully.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Belief isn't just some mystical force that some people have and others don't. It's a practical tool that we can develop and strengthen over time. When we do that consistently, we don't just change our thoughts, we change our actions, our outcomes, and ultimately our entire life trajectory.
Wow. That was deep, Mikey, and educational. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast show. I know you mentioned you had a couple of legal degrees. Your knack for research is impeccable. Have you ever thought about returning back to law school?
I appreciate the compliment. I love podcasting because it does allow me to put in the research. Ironically, I do plan on perhaps going back to law school after I finish my master's in social work degree.
Wow, you are so ambitious, Mikey. So, what do you want to practice when you do go back to law school?
Great question. Because I have nothing to prove, I want to help veterans and fathers advocate for their rights in court, so likely will be a pro bono attorney and maybe estate planning.
Wow, you are my hero, Mikey. Okay, my peeps, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for listening and downloading our shows. If you have a dedication or would like to comment on any of our shows, please visit greatdayradio.com, click on Let's Talk, and leave a 30-second message or two. Until later, thank you for being a fan and supporter of Great Day Radio.
You are listening to the People Station on greatdayradio.com.